We're the Unproducers. That's fighting cock. We're talking Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PS1. Let's crack this fucker open. Come on, let's go through the street, looking for a shining lift. I don't get fucked over mine, be ready to start, yeah. It's fucking whiskey
Let me show you why they call us the Unproducers. So, Tyler, what do you think of the Metal Gear
Let me get this
Solid?
open. Let me get this open first.
Oh, okay. Make sure you don't hurt yourself.
Might need to cut this out of the recording. Maybe.
At least speed it up. Give me the damn bottle.
It's hard. I have no fingernails.
Make this shit so damn hard to open.
You have to fight it like a cock.
Right. Oh, there we go. All that for a fucking twist.
Let me toss it. Cock me. 106 proof. Not to kill anything that moves. Jesus Christ.
What?
Trying to get blasted over there? Revolver?
Yes. Shit, 6 shots. More than enough to drunk anything that moves.
Sniff this fucker.
I don't even know how I'm going to be able to drink this with this mustache on. Without, like, soaking the mustache in whiskey.
You did it.
That is surprisingly smooth for something so high proof. Surprised. Kind of like it.
Metal Gear. So, not to get into Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 too much, because obviously it's not the topic of this video, but just a little setting dressing. You've never played them, right?
No. How the hell would I?
They're on the HD collection.
I don't have the issue.
On the Xbox?
Oh yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah.
I have every game that doesn't have Solid Snake in it.
Yeah, we play Solid Snake and Metal Gear 2, but besides, like, the general, like, plot of, like, Snake goes in to fight a Metal Gear, and his friend Gray Fox was there, but, like, he died.
I thought Gray Fox was a member of Fox.
He was. This is then.
Right, I didn't think he was friends with Snake.
Yeah, they knew each other. That's the whole crux of, like, their relationship in Metal Gear Solid 1. Anyway, So they go, and Gray Fox, like, seemingly, like, dies, right?
Yeah.
And then, you play through the whole game, and
Okay.
at the end, you go to fight the Metal Gear, except, turns out, Big Boss was the head of Outer Heaven all along. Then you fight him,
Which is like the coolest fucking concept
and that's the end. Well, and of course, Big Boss, like, calls you on the codec, and he's like, turn off the game. Turn off the game now. And this is like 1988, I think the game came out. So,
ever. Kojima was ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
From the beginning. Kojima set the curve.
And
Okay, I have a question, right? So, the dudes at Outer Heaven, right? Is it still the Militaire Sans Frontiere?
that's not what they're called at that point.
Are they still the Diamond Dogs at that point?
They'd be the Diamond Dogs, pretty much.
Okay.
But they're not called that, obviously.
Right. So, also, Solid Snake is a member of Foxhound, right? Or is he a member of just Fox?
He's a member of Fox, and then he was a member of Foxhound, right? Later on, because they reformed.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Okay, I got No.
Or wait,
Some
is
MGS
it not Foxhound until like after the events of Metal Gear 2, and the dudes in it are the guys you fight in MGS1. That's correct. He was in Fox.
Okay.
I think. Pretty sure that's right. Anyway. The Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. Really like, the first one was like, kind of its time, but like, I think Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, especially gameplay wise, is like ahead of its time. It's pretty similar to like the type of gameplay that's in Metal Gear Solid, which was like 5 years later. And it even has like a lot of the characters that are introduced there go on, like Colonel is originally from that game. Master Miller is originally from that game.
Right.
And it's got like, pretty sure Gray Fox shows up again. And it's like, oh no, he's working with Big Boss because he agrees with his ideals. And like Big Boss shows up again and he's more fleshed out. And at the end, you fight him again. And
don't you kill him with a aerosol can and a lighter this time?
Yes.
Because, okay, so in the first game, the first Metal Gear, you are
fight him with a rocket launcher.
You're fighting Venom Snake from MGS5.
I mean, yes, retroactively, yes.
And then in MG2, you're fighting the actual Big Boss.
Yes.
Right. And then the body of Big Boss then becomes like a plot device.
In MGS4 specifically.
Well, in 1.
Yeah, it's a plot device in 1, and then it is really, really a plot device in 4 when like it's around and like people are actively like fucking fighting each other over and shit. That's supposed to like a background plot device, yeah.
Right. Well, I still don't understand how anyone can confuse Solidus Snake and Big Boss.
We'll get there. So,
especially the one who gave birth to him.
MGS4 I have a complicated relationship in that game.
Right.
To say the least. So then that leads us to Metal Gear Solid, which is obviously sort of rebranded. You really can start with that game and explains the first two well enough. Like I said, the plot of those is simple enough. But it's nice that the games going forward are still enhanced by having at least being familiar with the story of those games.
Right.
It's cool. So, but it's a good like halfway point between like not like just casting off those original games because they still are very important, especially just like the relationship between Big Boss and Snake, which of course will come up in this game. But so this game has a lot of fucking cutscenes. I think that's
it borders between video game and Telltale game.
Or should we say Telltale game borders between adventure game and Metal Gear Solid?
That one works too.
There's a lot of cutscenes that are nice, but a lot of them are just like dudes talking in the codec, which doesn't bother me because I like it. But it does. Yeah. It's easy enough to skip through. But in the actual game, it's pretty short. Like once you know what you're doing, you can easily beat the game like casually in a couple hours,
which is good.
Which makes it replayable.
Yeah, I like that.
So, but yeah, that's like the defining feature that like the average person, what do they know about Metal Gear Solid? Stealth game, really complicated story,
codec calls,
and lots of cutscenes.
It's like one of my Japanese animes.
So, and the actual stealth gameplay of Metal Gear Solid, especially like the first two, is really arcadey. So there's not that much depth to it. It's really like it gives you the little map, and you can. It's really simplistic. It's like you're either not seen, or like caution mode. Right. And the guard AI is like not. It was okay at the time, you know. They do a couple smart things, like the at the very beginning of the game when you land outside of Shadow Moses and like you can leave the prints in the snow. Yeah. And the guard can see them, except that's the only other time that happens in the whole game. Imagine like programming that in for the guard to like notice the footprints, and it's only used in like 1 minute of the game. That's peak Kojima. Right. Or like in MGS2 when like he built, like he had to make the engine for the ice cubes to melt realistically on the tanker, even though there's like one bucket of ice in the whole fucking game that ever does it. Right. But the ice still like melts realistically. No wonder Konami fired him. Right. It's like, we need the money to accurately model desert gophers. And put me in the game. Right.
Isn't he in almost like? Is he in MGS1?
No.
No.
He's not really in them until like Portable Ops, where he's
Right.
like he's a guy you can get in your base.
Right. He's one of the guys you can save in MGS5 Part 1.
And he can be a member of your. I think if you save him in that, you can have him in your Diamond Dogs and
Oh, cool.
Fans of Pain. I think,
Cool.
and I know you can have him in Peace Walker and Portable Ops. I'm pretty sure. So he's Kojima's a special guy. You could make a whole video just talking about like his fucking like the traits of the shit that he directs.
Right.
So, but yeah, like not for me. Like not. I've always liked the gameplay and I like playing the games a lot. But it's one of the series to me that's like I half play it for the gameplay, or like I 1/3 play for the gameplay, and I really a lot of it play for the story. Which usually I like it to be a little more even, but MGS is so like fucking like enjoyable to play. Like to me, MGS1 is like the best action movie,
Yeah.
but a video game that you could ever do.
Right. Well, that's what Kojima makes. He makes like kind of shitty action movies into really good video games.
Yeah, and he has hits and misses. Let's call it. So,
Yeah.
But I think like just the setup for this game being similar to Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake doesn't really bother me. I like how they establish like the villains at the beginning, so you kind of know what you're up against, and then they subvert it a little bit because of the order in which you fight them, and the order they actually like get defeated, and also because Octopus you don't know what the fuck is up with Octopus for a long, long time.
He just fucking dies.
Fox die.
He just fucking. So he turns into the DARPA G, right? And then just dies.
So let's talk about
Who, what I want to say very interestingly about the DARPA chief is he is
Singing.
from MGS3. It's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm saying that a lot in this video, but it's true because everything's really interconnected. I feel like if you like some stuff, it's like 4 games later that recontextualizes this random cutscene in MGS1. That's cool. So, like, there were words like
Playing the whole series.
And like being like insane about it.
Right.
Like knowing everything that happens and shit. So
Right.
So I want to talk about Shadow Moses as like a setting. Just because I've always really liked Shadow Moses. It's probably my favorite like base in the franchise.
Okay.
To me, it has a lot of personality in terms of just like
There's a lot of different areas that you go in, so it keeps it very interesting.
Yeah, and there's still like
You're never just like inside all the time, or you have the fight with Sniper Wolf where you're outside in the snow having a sniper battle, and then you're fighting Vulcan Raven in like the freezer area, and then you fight the Hind outside, and then you fight Liquid Snake on top of the Metal Gear.
You fight like Mantis in like that office.
Yeah.
So yeah, like even though when you really look at it, like Shadow Moses isn't that big, they use it smartly enough. It's like it's just big enough where you feel like it feels big,
Right.
but it's not big because you really know every single room, like top to bottom, like where everything is at.
Right.
So by the time you play it once, or especially like 2 or 3 times,
It's always crazy to me that Psycho Mantis is like what, the second or third boss? That's crazy. He's like, anytime you hear Psycho Mantis talk about it, it makes it sound like he's like he's like one of the final bosses.
Yeah. He's definitely one of the most famous things about the whole game. So,
Snake.
and I really like how
you don't like girls?
This is more emphasized in MGS4, which is one of my favorite parts of that game, but I like how like worn out Shadow Moses feels. Like it's an abandoned base, but it's like even on the PS1 they still managed to get across like it's kind of like almost falling apart.
Right.
Everything's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It gives it personality. It's a lot better than like serene, perfect military
Hallways
base.
and stuff, like in MGS2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Big Shell, I have a love-hate relationship with some things about it, so. But yeah, Shadow Moses definitely sticks out to me. Plus, it's got a cool name.
Shadow Moses.
Got a cool fucking name. That's the best part.
Right.
Snake was hanging out with his Alaskan sled dogs.
Yeah, his wolf dogs.
And... Whoa, wolf. And I also just like you said, how it transitions between so many... Like, it really doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
Like, why do you need, like, a magma pit inside of the fucking...
Was there a magma pit?
Yeah, like, one of the last rooms, like, remember you gotta take the key card, and you are, like, shimmying across, and there's, like, magma at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next room
was, like...
a gigantic freezer. Yeah, that's, like, molten metal. It's not
it's
magma.
like a smelter.
Yeah, but, like, the whole floor is the fucking molten...
I don't know, man.
Imagine how hot that room would be.
Very. And Snake is in a skin-tight latex suit.
With nanomachines.
Is there nanomachines?
Yeah.
For what?
It, like, monitors his fucking...
Oh, his vitals?
Yeah, and all that shit.
Oh.
And, of course, he's injected with...
Fox dye.
Fox dye. So... Anything else you feel about Shadowrun? We summed it up. It's cool, I like it.
Yeah.
It sticks out. It's still memorable, even after all these games.
But yeah, you go back to it in MGS4, and...
It's just nostalgia, bro. That's all it is.
Is it?
Even though, like, the first time you ever played this game was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. Was it 2 years ago?
I feel like it's been that long. 2 or 3.
No. It was last year, bro.
No, because we played 2 after that.
Oh, yeah. Man. Time really be flowing, bro.
You get born, then you fucking die of old age.
Yeah, right.
Just ask Snake and MGS4.
Okay, 1, he wasn't born. 2, he is not going to die of old age. I think the microwave hallway is going to kill him for anything else. That or the cigarettes he hides in his stomach.
Speaking of Snake, let's talk about him.
Snake.
Snake, in this game.
He's over it. He's just done.
Yeah, like,
He's like,
and that's nice, like, even if you've played the previous games, you understand it. You're like, shit, I'm done too, like, fuck.
Right.
Because they still call me in on this. But then, like, if you're not playing as him, it's kind of fresh just to have a character who's, like, done.
Right.
That's not, like, reluctant action hero isn't, like, the most uncommon thing in the world, but just the way it's done with Snake is interesting.
Yeah. He's just like, I want to get this done and over with so I can go back, deal with my PTSD after killing my dad. My dad's weird, second guy, like,
or
clone.
To him, he's like, killed my dad twice.
I killed my dad twice. Watched my friend Gray Fox die. And then, you know, throughout this game, he finds out, Master Miller's dead. You know, he thinks Meryl's gonna die.
He gets betrayed. Naomi betrays him.
Does she betray him?
Yeah. Well, she's like, I injected you with Fox dye, as revenge because Gray Fox was my
Oh yeah, my adopted dad.
Listen, she sees him as her brother. Like, he basically raised her.
Right.
So yeah, he's constantly getting fucked. He's like, as always, poor Snake is like a tool of all these people that are like so far above him in terms of like their knowledge and the ability to affect the situation that...
And this is literally why Big Boss wanted Outer Heaven to exist. And Snake still goes, that's a bad idea, Dad.
And what it does nicely is it puts you in Snake's shoes because it's annoying to be like fucking feel like you're just running around like doing nothing all the time because people want you to. And it does a good job of showing just like in real life how like the average soldier is basically just a tool of people whose motivations are so far removed from what is going on in front of them that it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Right.
So, and another thing I like about Snake in this game is Solid Snake is a very like, he's kind of a romantic sometimes.
Yeah. You can tell he's like, he's like a womanizer. He's like...
Well, I mean...
He's suave.
He likes the women, but what I mean by romantic is like the classical sense of it, where he's like,
oh yeah,
he tries to see the world like in a idealized way,
right?
And like he'll like go on about like, yes, I think every person can have good in them, maybe,
right?
Just like one of his long, fucking monologues
you
about.
love Bloom on the battlefield. Yes.
Speaking of, just kind of jumping around in the order they're introduced, but I think Otacon's a fitting second character to talk about just because he and Snake they're gay lovers.
Basically.
They might as without the loving. Yeah. They're gay dads, for sure.
They're
bro-
House and Wilson.
Yeah, they're the best bros. Otacon in this game goes back and forth between
himself.
Between like very like entertaining, but also still like he's competent,
Yeah, he's never not confident.
No, but just when as he's introduced, you're like, what the fuck is he pissing himself? Like,
yeah.
But he's like, I made Metal Gear because like I was, I told myself I was doing it for the science, but really I was too scared to quit.
Right.
Which is a good counterpoint to his father, which we'll see later on in the series.
Fuck Huey.
But
I'm glad he died.
He stays entertaining, and of course, he has his heart broken the first time because he gets fucking Stockholm Syndrome with fucking Sniper Wolf.
I mean, if you're gonna get Stockholm Syndrome with anyone, it might as well be Sniper Wolf.
It's just funny to me how it's almost like Snake and Sniper Wolf in that scenario, and then that last scene are like these two like Greek gods like battling it out, and then like Otacon's some lowly human. He's like, please don't kill her, I love her. She's like, who the fucker? Who are you?
Right.
It's pretty fucking. It works well for Otacon too because he always is supposed to, at least this kind of changes over time, but to me he's always supposed to like he's introduced as like weak or incompetent. Like I said, he's always supposed to sort of come across like he's super good at what he does, but he's not on the same playing field as like the combatants because the series is so focused on like the military people that he's like, he's periphery, even though really in a lot of ways he's like, he keeps Snake going more than anything else. So, but he's a shit. I love him. I mean, he's good in this game. He gets. I love him later on too, but even here at the beginning, he's one of my favorite characters in the game. Colonel in this game, I don't have too much to say about the
Colonel Campbell.
Colonel Campbell, call me in again.
Yeah.
I like him. Not really too much interesting about him besides the fact that he like lies about like Meryl. He says Meryl's his niece, right? But he's actually her dad.
Yeah.
So whenever Meryl's in trouble, he's like flipping the fuck out. He's like, "Where's she at? Where's she at? Where's she at?
What's going on with Meryl? Huh?
Look on the back of the box to get her phone number." And
yeah.
So there's that, and then there's at the end where he lies to, or he's caught like he's been lying to Snake about the mission. He's like, "Yeah, the fucking." This is the Secretary of State, right? Who's like telling him what to tell Snake to do, but he can't tell Snake the whole story of.
Right, I think so. Or no, it might be the Vice President. Because at the end, Revolver goes, "Yes, Mr. President."
Okay.
Because
I'm almost positive it's the Secretary of State, but it might be the Vice President.
It might be the Vice President or the President. Because Solidus is President.
Well, it's not. Yeah, but that never comes up until the credits.
Right. Okay.
And nothing about the president's ever really mentioned besides.
Right.
So, but Colonel's fine. Most of the like the codec team, the support team, are they're good. They're cool. I like them. They're enjoyable, but I don't have too much to say about them. Mei Ling.
Colonel, Mei Ling, Naomi for most of the game, and then that's it, right?
There's Esther Miller, who's actually Liquid Snake.
Right. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
And then there's Natalia, the weapons expert. And she'll talk about all the guns.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, I mean, they all wax poetic a little bit, and they tell you about their life, but nothing too, like...
Mei Ling will give you a Chinese proverb here and there.
Yeah.
She's your save person.
I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake. You're cute. You sound cute.
That's not cool.
You shouldn't hit on your command.
Yeah.
Your backup team.
Yeah.
But I'm
Wait,
Snake. I do what
does
I want.
Big Boss hit on Paramedic?
I think a little.
That's a surprise. Usually, you should be too busy hitting on Ava and the boss.
Yeah, but he too loves puss.
Well, of course.
The one the most to talk about is Naomi, just because she's like super plot relevant. Just we find out more about her life in general.
Right.
Like she waxes about like one of the primary themes of the game, which is like, do your genetics determine what your fate is, or like what your destiny can be, and all this other shit? Because that's like partially what drives her. She's like, I'm worthless because bad genes, bro. But then at the even in the very end during the credits, she's the one who like talks about the final theme of the game.
Right.
When she's talking about our genes don't define us, we're our own people and all that shit. So
Sure.
that's one thing about Metal Gear Solid is it's never like, for the most part, it's usually pretty obvious what Kojima is trying to say because the characters will talk about it for
correct
the entire game.
Yeah. Yes. Liquid talks about how he's got all the recessive genes, and Solid has all the dominant genes.
How genetics work, bro.
Yeah. Kojima knows what he wants to talk about, he just doesn't know about what he wants to talk about. That's kind of the problem. He spent too much time researching the guns and shit and not how genetics work.
At least, like, it doesn't distract that much from, like, the concept of it. It's just he's using the incorrect term.
Right.
The dominant genes.
Right.
Dominant doesn't mean good, Liquid.
Right. Well, it could just be Liquid being an idiot.
Yeah, that's how you can rationalize it, too.
Yeah.
It is left open, probably not intentionally, but to where you can rationalize it.
He was the warlord of a bunch of kids at one point, so it's not like he's the smartest.
You're saying intelligent men can be child warlords?
No. Yes and no. Solidus was a pretty successful child warlord.
He's pretty
But he
intelligent.
was a pretty successful child warlord because he was an adult.
Oh, you mean like when Eli was a kid?
Yeah.
Okay, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I see where you're
He still got his ass beat by Venom Snake. If he was really that good, he wouldn't have got his ass beat.
I think really the only other character in this category with some nice things to talk about is Meryl. And
The nicest thing about her is her fat ass.
she does have a fat ass. It's important. It's important in gameplay too.
Right.
But she's like consistently through most of the game, like the counterpoint to Snake, where like Snake used to be this green rookie, and now he's like the experienced soldier, and she's like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing. Trust me, He's like, "Have you ever killed somebody?" And all this other shit. She's like, "No."
He's like, I can do it.
He's like, "Your gun swing." All this other shit. It's just nice to hear. Because in those scenes, we're kind of like in the shoes of Meryl, like seeing how fucking badass Solid Snake is.
Also, how fucking done he is.
Yeah, which is a primary like thing, and especially too, where like the whole game we're right in shoes, seeing how badass Snake is. It's kind of played with Meryl, because I think in those scenes we're supposed to be like, wow, he's a real fucking hard ass, huh?
Yeah.
Real hard ass son of a bitch.
Right. But it's hype though.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. And of course, the alternate endings come into play with Meryl and Otacon. Have you seen both endings? I mean, they're not that different, but
don't they? Isn't it just different? Who he rides off with?
Yeah, but they talk. They say different things. Like Meryl's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? This and that." It's got like a romantic tinge to it, even though that's technically the canon one because Meryl lives through the game. I've always liked the one with Otacon more because they talk about their real names.
Yeah. Because
he's like, "Well, what's your name, Snake?" And he's like, "David." It's like, our names are Hal and David. Like 2001. And he's like, yeah, I guess.
I feel like Otacon just makes Snake watch a bunch of shitty anime. just because.
You see how that Gundam's like a Metal Gear? And he's like...
Okay, we gotta talk about what Otacon's name is. Because Otacon is a anime convention. And Otacon goes, call me Otacon. And Snake goes, why?
Why?
He's like, it's an anime convention. Okay, you fucking weeb. Oh, man. So, yeah, but, like, it's implied in the Otacon ending that Meryl dies, right?
That's a fact. She dies.
Oh.
Snake knows she dies. Because remember, Ocelot tells Snake, if you give in to the torture, I won't kill Meryl.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what determines the ending you get, is if you give in to the torture or not.
Right, I forgot.
So, but we'll get to that when we talk about Ocelot. Well, Ocelot's the first boss, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought Decoy Octopus.
Well, okay, well, I was going to say, unless you have anything else to say about sort of like the good side of the characters, I was going to talk about the Goon Squad plus Grey Fox.
Okay.
So, and I was kind of gonna go in the order you fight them. So, but yeah, we can start with Decoy Octopus. Not really know almost nothing about him.
No. Except that
He's the greatest master of disguise, like, on the planet.
Right. Which is... How does he turn into the DARPA chief?
He literally, like, changes his physique based on who he's trying to appear as, and he, like, uses masks and makeup, and, like, he gets surgeries and shit. Or he does surgeries on himself. It's vague. You don't know exactly how he does it.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's just like, here's the thing about Metal Gear Solid, it's seemingly, like, you have, like, the top layer of it is, like, normal, seemingly normal military shit, but then you dig down a little bit, it's like, everybody actually has superpowers. So basically, everybody has, like, a superpower, but it's pretty subtle.
Right.
For the most part.
Except for Psycho Mantis.
Well, I mean...
Psycho Mantis has an overt superpower.
I mean, the superpowers are usually obvious. Or a lot of the time they're obvious. But what I mean is they don't call it superpowers. They just act like it's normal.
Yeah, okay. He's really good at something.
And it kind of goes over the top a little bit once you get to, like, 3, and it's like, I have bees!
or you got the end who just, like, stops his heartbeat to live longer, or the dude who's literally on fire.
Yeah.
I have bees! Or the one
my power's bees!
Or, who is it, the Fear, or whatever, who's got, like, the disjointed arms and shit?
Like the tongue.
Or the Sorrow, who's literally dead.
And even in 2, that you have it too, but 2 is its own beast. I
gloss VR simulation.
I gloss over 2 a lot, but 2 is... We'll get there.
Yeah.
So, but I would say most of the characters in this game, most of the primary characters, have some kind of superpower.
More or less.
Yeah. So, which makes it, like, fun in a gameplay perspective just because, you know, you can do more stuff with them gameplay-wise, but also from a story perspective, it removes it from reality just enough where it's like, you know, you can like disconnect from it a little bit to where the point where it's like it's obviously not real life, but you know they drone on about like real nuclear weapon development and shit enough where it's like obvious that it's still like the things that are relevant to these characters in terms of like the military industrial complex and war and post traumatic stress and all that shit are still relevant to real people. So, but Decoy Octopus. His superpower is apparently the best. He disguises like a motherfucker.
Right. He's that Drew Carey movie.
Or like, you know the chameleon from Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. That's how I always imagined it. He's got like full head masks and shit.
Right.
Or like whole game, whole look like on a fat suit. Shit like that.
Okay. Reasonable.
And then the next one is Revolver Ocelot.
Revolver.
You know, I mean, this character...
He's the best character.
He's okay, you know. He's kind of not very fleshed out. Bruh. He's not really in the games that much. He's got a bad mustache.
Bruh. I will fight you on the mustache.
His boss fight's bad. His gun is stupid.
This is the single greatest handgun ever made. The Colt Single Action Army, 6 shots, more than enough to kill anything that moves.
He gets his arm cut off like a bitch. Honestly, it's my like 3rd favorite fight in the game.
He's my favorite character in MGS.
He's one of mine. He's up there.
He's top tier. He's best in every. He's like
He
the
might
best
be.
character in every game he's in.
Except, like, 5. 5 is kind of disappointing, unfortunately, but he's alright.
Yeah, he's just kind of going through the motions because he knows that this is not the real big boss.
Yeah, you can call it what you want. He's kind of boring in that game. He's not.
The game's kind of boring in general. So.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, in this game, let's try to keep it to this game. So, he's obviously like the standout because first of all, it comes prevalent later, but most of the characters don't survive after their boss fight with your fight with them.
Right.
But
Because either Fox die or Snake just fucking shoots him.
But yeah, because Snake wins. But Snake doesn't necessarily completely win against Ocelot.
No.
The battle is ended because of Gray Fox saving Snake.
Right. Okay, Ocelot has like the coolest like skill ever. He just like ricochets bullets.
Yeah,
He's
he's-
hype.
Ocelot is insanely good with guns, but he's also, overall in the series, Ocelot might be the smartest character.
Yeah.
Ocelot is fucking off the wall.
Oh yeah. And
Even
he's, like,
in this game, you know by the credits that he's up to some shit because
he's playing 3 sides.
yeah,
The only person that Ocelot is loyal to is himself and Big Boss. That is the only people he is truly loyal to is Big Boss.
yeah. So even in this game, he's
Because he's gay for Big Boss.
he's supposedly serving under Liquid, but really he's going behind Liquid's back, seemingly for himself, but also
Trying to get Metal Gear.
seemingly for himself. You don't know why necessarily.
Right.
It seems like he just wants it, but really he's doing it for the president, which we don't know anything about as of this game. But it's
Right.
obvious.
Yeah.
It'll be relevant too when, of course, he shows up again. But so even in this game, you get the hints of how on a different level in terms of his double agentry and his planning and shit.
Right.
But also, he's fucking good with guns.
Yeah.
Maybe you could call that a kind of intelligence. Maybe he sees the angles, bro. He's like the number man.
He's like the dudes from Wanted where he can just ricochet the bullets just because he's that good.
If you train hard.
Maybe. I don't know. Have you tried it?
You want to try it?
I mean, I can.
Alright, let's do it.
Okay.
On camera.
Okay.
It'll be a whiskey time bonus. Or we try to curve bullets. Fucking shoot ourselves in the fucking feet.
No, he doesn't curve the bullets. He ricochets.
No, I'm saying the
bullets.
one guys curve the bullets.
Oh, right. Well, you can't do that. But,
Oh no, you can
Ocelot is
probably ricochet bullets.
Yeah, he just ricochets the bullets. He doesn't curve the bullets.
No. That's what I was talking about, curving the bullets.
Oh, yeah, no, he doesn't do that.
Anyway,
He understands the bullets. He knows where they're gonna go.
great voice acting. In general, I don't talk about the voice acting in this game because it's remarkably good for the time it was released.
Oh, yeah.
For this era,
Definitely.
insanely good voice acting.
They sacrificed having faces on the characters to have voice acting.
Yes.
The only thing you see on Ocelot is his mustache and his hair.
I mean, they have eyes and shit.
Not really.
They just have no facial animation whatsoever.
Right. They also judder.
Yeah.
Really weirdly.
They do kind of judder, and it's harder. It was harder to notice, on CRTs and stuff, when everything was fuzzy, sort of. But when you up res it into high res, they kind of. I think it's supposed to make them look more like they're breathing and moving around naturally. Right. But once you remove the separate the fuzzy CRT layer, or the scan lines, it does look kind of odd. I know it really bothers you. I really don't notice it that much.
It doesn't bother me. It's just I think it's funny.
Yeah,
I think it's funny.
But yeah, Ocelot gets his arm cut off like a stupid bitch. Thanks to the next character,
Gray Fox.
Who isn't the next character you fight, but
You even fight him?
Yeah, you just fight him.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
That's my second favorite boss fight.
Oh,
my favorite is the final boss.
Oh, of course. Okay. Another fist fight. Nerd.
But I really like Gray Fox in this game just because this is the first time they did the Cyber Ninja thing that's a constant in the games. So he's badass just because he's a fucking Cyber Ninja.
Yeah.
But also, from the minute like Snake walks in the hallway and there's all these dead bodies, you're like, oh, I guess I'm playing a horror game now.
Right.
And then you walk into the room and he's like threatening to kill your boy Otacon, and Otacon's pissing his pants in fear of the cyber ninja with a fucking vibro sword.
I'd be pissing myself too, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, really, is Otacon a little bitch? No.
No. He hides in a locker.
But then Gray Fox is like, hurt me, Snake, please hurt me. That's weird.
Right. I don't know, man.
And it's not, I don't think it's immediate, or maybe it is by this point, where it is revealed that it's Gray Fox, and Snake's like, what the fuck?
Right.
It's like, what's going on? So, the hint, even if you don't necessarily know the full relationship, and of course here's the thing is like, even if you know the plot stuff of the old games, the characters weren't so like realistic in terms of like they have emotions.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now, and that's another thing that I really think grounds this and makes it like a good action movie as a game.
Tactical action espionage, right?
Well,
espionage action.
Yeah. Is all the characters are like really a lot more fleshed out than you could ever do like a real action movie because, you know, it's not the focus of the movie, but all of the characters, you know, half the reason is because they wax on about their feelings and the concepts they find interesting for like 15 minutes at a time, but still, you can hardly say that the characters are not fleshed out.
Right.
So, and of course, Gray Fox by the end, well, you find out that he like raised Naomi, but all this shit that happened in MG1 and 2 and some other stuff, like really fucked him up, and he was experimented on and turned into a fucking cyber.
Basically, a prototype Raiden.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
For him, not for Raiden. I mean, yeah, for Raiden, but it kind of worked out for Raiden because Raiden's a badass.
With a robo dick.
Yeah.
You know he's got a robot dick.
I would hope so.
Right.
Otherwise, why is Rose still around?
I don't know.
Anyway. By the end,
he's
got a nice arc where he like sacrifices himself to save Snake at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
And his fucking death is brutal, where he's like holding the fucking leg up and he gets like stepped on.
He's got like the coolest, like, one of the last lines that he delivers. A cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. This game's full of one-liners. It's fantastic.
It truly is. And like the voice acting, it brings it up to another level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think the next one you fight, like, the final fight is Sniper Wolf. I really like Sniper Wolf a lot, actually.
Yeah. She's hot.
If Ocelot wasn't in the group, she would probably be my favorite member. So,
understandable.
Yeah, she's cool. I like her backstory. She's sympathetic. Well, she's sympathetic because of the thing with the wolves.
Yeah.
Just like she wants to. You know, it makes her not seem inhuman, you know.
Well, right. The only one that you would... didn't we skip over Psycho Mantis?
Oh, yeah, I guess we did. Fuck. Of course, right? The most fucking famous one.
Yeah.
We're just hipsters, bro. Psycho Mantis, he's overrated, bro.
I mean, he really is.
I mean, Psycho Mantis, when I think about it... Okay, well, let me put it this way. It's not... The actual fight is okay. But I like, obviously, the creative shit where it, like, changes the screen and says, like, it's the video screen, but it says Hideo.
Right.
Or when you have to change the controller, you know, everybody knows that shit. Everybody reads your memory card. You like Castlevania, don't you?
What, Snake? You don't like girls?
And he makes you punch Meryl dead ass in the face. You know, that type of shit.
Which by that point in the game, you kind of want to.
Have you been looking for that ass?
No, you don't have to find her ass by that point.
Oh, it's afterwards? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because she's, like, hidden amongst the soldiers.
Yeah. And my favorite part about Psycho Mantis, I like his design, but I really like his ending monologue. That's one thing about the goon squads, especially in this game, is like, well, it's really, especially in this game, because some of the other games don't even have it, but they will, like, wax on about their backstory and, like, shit like that, so that's where they get fleshed out. But it's nice because they're, like, dying, so...
This is their final testament.
Yeah, and what I like about Mantis is, like, his backstory is somewhat sympathetic, but it's just, like, I like his last thought where it's, like, helping somebody, it feels nice, I wonder, you know... So by the end, he has finally, like, come to some sort of realization that he probably could have made his life different, been a good person by his standard, but he wasn't able to do it. But it's cool. And I like how Snake's very respectful. Because he, like, gets it.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Most definitely.
He's like, yeah, we're all fucked. Like, they're kindred spirits a lot of the time, which just makes it even sadder that, like, Snake has to go around fucking killing them all.
Right.
Because they're not so different.
You're not so different, you and I.
So, anything else you feel about Psycho Mantis?
I don't like his weird gimp suit.
That's the best part. It's fucking creepy looking. He's got, like, gray skin, like a gimp suit, and a fucking gas mask, and he's like, Castlevania! You like Mario Sunshine, don't you?
No, I can't read that. It's only Konami games.
You can break Mario Sunshine into Twin Snake.
We're talking about MGS1, bro.
Well, we'll get to the Twin Snakes.
I know. But we're talking about MGS1 right now. And you can only read
Well, yes, I understand that.
Konami games.
Yes, as opposed to Super Mario Sunshine, not by Konami, also on the PS1.
Yes.
That's the...
Yes. That's my favorite Nintendo console.
Anyway. We know that Super Nintendo, like, disc drive was originally going to be made by Sony, but then that fell through, so that's why Sony went and made the PlayStation.
Right.
Yeah. So, really, I mean,
Best mistake Nintendo ever made.
every PlayStation is basically a Nintendo console, if you think about it.
Yeah. Pretty close.
No, I mean, they are. They basically, they are.
Truly, yes. Alright. Point seated.
So, yeah, Sniper Wolf, like I said, probably my favorite besides Ocelot. Her boss fight is cool.
She has two, right?
Yeah.
One with, like, the lasers and
A lot of them
things.
have two, like, Raven has two, too. We haven't got to Raven, but... Liquid has two, pretty much, if you count the Hind fight.
Right.
Hind. And... anybody else has two? I don't know.
Does Ocelot have... You don't fight Ocelot twice, do you?
No, you just fight Ocelot one time.
Right. Then you get tortured by it.
If that counts as a boss fight.
Not really.
It is a unique scenario involving you and Ocelot, so...
Yes.
He gets another chain, another scene in the spotlight. With it, I like how he had just lost his arm earlier in the day, but he's still like, I'm gonna torture you, get off on it.
Yeah. What does he say during the torture scene? He's like, I'm not like one of these Spetsnaz cowards or some shit like that.
Yeah. I forget the exact line, but yes, it's something to that effect. It's like, I will torture you, and I will like it.
He just like hooks him up to a car battery or some shit, right?
I mean, basically, yes. Snake's just getting electrocuted with no shirt. He took his shirt off.
I'm gonna shock your nipples.
I just fucking love, like, they're undressing Snake. Except, I mean, just the top. They kept his gloves on and shit. And
right.
they put him in the fucking thing.
Right.
Like, does he really have to have his shirt off? Yes. It makes the torture more effective.
I can't get off, but
It makes me cool harder.
All right.
So, but yeah, Sniper Wolf, I liked her whole ending. She was, like, super loyal to Big Boss, like, originally, so which connects her a little bit more to Big Boss.
Right, because he was, like, helping... She was, like, a Kurdish fighter, right?
Yeah, so he was, like, an inspiration to her.
Right.
And, of course, we already mentioned the stuff with Otacon and her, which just, flushes her out a little bit more. I've always been of the opinion, to me it always seems like she gives not a single fuck about Otacon whatsoever, and it's like completely Stockholm Syndrome on his part.
Yeah, more.
Yeah. I've not really seen anybody else say anything otherwise, but, it's left open to interpretation, because you don't really see them together ever, pretty much. Besides the fact that knowledge that, like, she captured him or whatever. And you have Bulk and Raven, and you fight in the tank, and then you fight him with a fucking minigun, walking around the fair freezer or whatever.
You gotta talk about how Gray Fox is like, call me Deep Throat. You're like the Nixon thing? Like the Watergate tapes? And then as soon as Gray Fox says that, you say that, and then Snake goes, like Watergate? And you're like, what the fuck?
Snake is me, dude. Snake's you. He thinks exactly what you're thinking. Like when you see a fucking grenade launcher, you know what I think about? Pineapples.
Yeah.
A nice, juicy
pineapple.
exploding.
Yeah.
shattering my legs from the knee down
Sure.
as I scream in agony.
Yeah.
Anyway, Vulcan Raven gets eaten by ravens when he dies.
That's his superpower.
Yeah, getting eaten by... His superpower is being big. He's like, I can lift a tank minigun. Or like, no, it's from the hind, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, he takes the gun off the hind and carries it around. So he's using a helicopter gun, just like casually fucking stomping around.
This raven on my head wants to taste your blood.
What I like about his boss fight is that it's really like a culmination of just the stealth gameplay. Because it's like you're actually sneaking as opposed to most of the other boss fights where they're more like excursions from the main gameplay. So it's nice that there is at least him in the game that takes advantage of that.
Yeah, I like that too. It's very
and you can be very creative too with how you fight it. Where like most bosses, you're there's some creativity you can do to it, but it's really kind of limited. Where him, you can like if you want to fucking shoot him in the back of the head with a pistol, you can do it, or you can leave mines and make him walk into them. So it's cool. He doesn't really. I mean, he talks about like the Alaskan tribes. He doesn't. You don't really find too much out about his backstory, right?
Not that I can remember.
No, I mean he's cool. I like him, and I'll say before we get into like,
I like that how one thing I do like about Vulcan Raven a lot is he's not some weirdly and frankly kind of racist Native American stereotype. Where he's like, "Fight me with a knife, Snake, with honor." It's like, can we not with that, please?
Haven't they suffered enough?
Right. You know.
Oh, I like how he and Snake talk about the sled dogs too.
Do they?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh.
But if I recall correctly.
Okay. I couldn't remember that.
But
Are you sure that's not him and Sniper Wolf?
I don't think it's him and Snake. I don't think you ever see him and Sniper Wolf talk.
No, I meant Snake and Sniper Wolf. Because she has like all those wolf dogs.
I'm almost positive it's Vulcan Raven, but either way, I like it regardless. That comes up again.
Yeah.
Because you can still kind of tell like Snake like wants the fuck out of here.
Right.
He's still not used to it. Being back in the battlefield, it fucking sucks. He hates it.
Well, who would like it? Other than Ocelot.
Liquid. I don't know. Seems like Liquid kind of likes it.
He's got all the recessive genes.
Before I get to Liquid, as a whole, I really like Foxhound. I like the variety of powers they have. I like the variety of
their logo.
I like their logo. I like their backstory. I think in the whole series, they're easily, for me, the best, like, Goon Squad. Like, I think Goon Squad's peaked in MGS1. Because, like, the ones in, like, 3, for instance, I think probably the story of 3 is better than the story of 1.
Yeah.
But the Goon Squad, like...
Cobra Unit?
They leave. I mean, some of their fights are cool, but, like,
the boss,
you never find anything interesting out about, like, any of their backstories besides, like...
The Sorrow.
The Sorrow and the Joy.
Yeah. Or the boss.
Yeah. So...
and MGS4 is literally just MGS1's Goon Squad again.
Yeah. And the backstories are, like, way more ham-fisted.
Yeah.
MGS4 is, like...
MGS4 is fan fiction.
Unfortunately. In some ways. In some ways, it's the most Kino thing ever created.
Yeah.
Complicated relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely, like, Goon Squad peaked, unfortunately, in the first game, which is fine. Because I love the first minute. Like, most people's favorite is 3, I think. A lot of people, especially now, like, really love 2. And 1 is still, like, highly regarded, but I honestly think about 1, 2, and 3, I think they're all about equally as good. They're just all, like, have a completely different, like, what they're going for. So,
right. Makes sense.
And then we get to Liquid.
Liquid.
I like Liquid a lot. Just because, like, obviously, like, he kind of, like, spearheads the theme of the game.
Right.
But also just, like, his whole demeanor, like, his presence. Why does he take Snake's shirt off and his shirt off to fist fight on a Metal Gear? It's like they know they're on camera.
Right.
And that's what I love. The characters know that they're in a game.
Right.
They're like, we'll just be somewhere cool, somewhat liquid.
Cooler.
This would be way cooler if we took our fucking shirts off. So I'm gonna take your shirt off when you're knocked out.
Right.
While we're on top of a fucking
Metal.
giant robot.
Right. We're gonna have a fist fight while the bomb's getting ready to go off.
And what I like is how it's presented as if he's mad because, well, I mean he is mad because he thinks he's the inferior one.
Right.
But really, you find out in the post-credit scene that Snake was technically the inferior one to Liquid.
Oh, why though?
He had the recessive genes, is what they say.
It's retarded.
But what it really means is that they were differentiated after they took the DNA from Big Boss, and Liquid Snake got genes that were supposed to make him the better soldier. He got higher physical capabilities and shit.
Right.
Than Solid did. But that doesn't determine, obviously, what happens, because that's not what defines your fate, obviously. It's one game. Genetics. When I loved how, as the games went on, Kojima, made he's the theme of MGS1 is Gene. The theme of MGS2 is Mean. The theme of MGS3 is Scene. The theme of MGS4 is, I don't know. But you ham it the one word with the E, consonant E. But it is, especially with 1 and 2 and 3, it is true, but it's more accurately described as it actually is, and not the word gene.
Right.
And it's funny because that's more than, well, I guess not more than the other ones, but I'll just say it was a really at the time the game came out, it was a really forward thinking just in terms of how it was talking about because genetics and DNA solving crimes and shit was becoming more normal. That was becoming something that was actually used commonly. So it's just interesting that always, at least at this point in time, Kojima kind of had an eye on the future. What's changing now? How's it going to affect later on? So he didn't need to say your genetics don't affect, don't determine what your life is going to be in. It'd be one thing to say it now, but he said it in a fucking action game 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So, but Liquid, you don't really find out too much about his backstory, just besides
you and him are brothers.
Yeah, he hates Snake because, and it's not even based on Snake. It's based on himself. He hates that he thinks he's inferior.
Right.
So you could draw a lot out of that, especially based on what you know about MGS5. You could do a lot of psychoanalysis on him, but it's just interesting that although he is the antagonist, he doesn't really hate Snake. That's not what it is.
No.
He wants to, because if you think about it, killing Snake would make him a better soldier. He's just trying to prove to himself that genes don't matter. He's trying to just prove to himself the theme of the game when really it was all kind of fucking fruitless.
Right.
And he's also big.
Liquid Ocelot died of failure.
Solid Snake is trying to let go of the past and Big Boss.
Right.
And Liquid is trying to claim it. So I think that just serves to differentiate them, where Snake is trying to move on with his life and become something more than what he was programmed to be, and Liquid Snake isn't able to. He's obsessed with it.
Liquid is the ultimate little brother.
Yeah.
Where he's always feels in the shadow of his older
brother.
Yeah.
I love his voice acting. I've written that name.
I have to look it up too.
But
But
everything is in
there's a scene where Liquid goes, "Yeah, older brother or younger."
Is it Cam Clark? Is that his name? Something like
Maybe.
that. That's close.
He goes, "I don't know which one of us came first." I'm your name's Eli, his name is David. Let's just go alphabetically. I think Solid Snake's older.
Bro, they're the twin snakes, bro.
No shit. Even though there's 3.
Also, Liquid is one of the most indestructible characters in the game, in the series. Because survives the helicopter crash, fine.
Right.
You think he's dead for a while. Then he fucking... Not even to mention all the stuff that's not in the game that he survived over the years, but then he fucking... You fist fight him on top of the Metal Gear. He falls off. The Metal Gear's like, what, 50 feet tall?
Something like that.
30 to 50 feet tall, somewhere in there, I forget exactly. And he survives, falling on like a steel floor. Then you get in the car, and you're like fucking speeding away, shooting him with the fucking mounted machine gun on the car.
Right.
In the fucking torso.
Right.
The cars crash, and it's like burning wreckage. He crawls out,
Gets up.
alive, with the fucking gun. He's about to kill Solid Snake.
And then Foxeye kills him.
And in the end, he kind of died because of his genes. Because that's how Foxeye is programmed, is it targets the genetic code of its victims.
Right.
Foxeye is terrifying, by the way.
Oh, most definitely, yes.
Which is especially explored later on in 4.
Yeah.
But, like, I also just love, like...
I feel like that's like a war crime.
I'm almost certain it is.
Like,
I
the
love-
Geneva Convention, like, certainly does not allow for, like, this sort of biological warfare.
I love just... You play through the whole game and all these characters are mysteriously dying of heart attacks, and it is weird. But also, like, the bosses are dying and stuff, too. Well, how much of it was Foxeye, you know? Because that's what kills Liquid in the end. It's just extremely uncomfortable knowing the whole time you've been, like, an unwitting agent of this disease, which, again, just goes to reinforce the theme of, like, the soldier is but a tool of the people in power.
Right.
And they have no concept of what is actually going on.
Right. And this is exactly what Big Boss didn't want to happen. Big
This
Boss
is exactly
was
what we didn't want to happen.
along.
So, I like that whole ending sequence. Like I said, my favorite boss is the final boss on top of the Metal Gear, just because, like, sheer badassitude. Like, gameplay-wise, it's, like,
Oh, shit.
Mash square.
How many times did you have to restart that fight because you got your ass beat?
Like 4 or 5, I think.
It's more than that.
I don't think so. I don't know, maybe I'm forgetting how long the fight takes, but it took me about probably 20 minutes to beat it, so.
Maybe. I think it was longer than that, but it's been a minute.
I want to see you beat it, bro.
You can go fuck yourself.
Why don't you become an MGS speedrunner, bro?
Can you even... How is the speed run for this game?
It's not bad. The only bad part's, like, you gotta match through codecs, but it's not the worst thing wrong.
Right.
Codecs, I think you can actually zoom through them pretty quick, but like if you hold triangle, so. Speaking of the codec, I like the codec. It's not originally in this game, it's from MG. I think it works pretty similar in MG2, but I mean, I like how you can randomly dial numbers. I like how they have you look on the back of the box, which I think was also in MG2. This kind of reminds me of Nier and Nier Automata, where, like, it's not a remake, but a bunch of the same concepts are reused because it's exposed to a whole new audience. And it doesn't really bother me at school.
Yeah.
Because you might as well. I mean, if it's a good idea, it's a good idea. Might as well use it again, right?
Exactly.
So, but I like the whole ending sequence. We talked about the themes a bunch. Naomi kind of serenades you and Snake and Hal, or Snake and Meryl, off on their little fucking snowmobile about the main theme of the game, in case you didn't get it by that point. What is remarkable is that the game does that, but it doesn't ever really feel condescending. At least to me, I don't think so.
Yeah, that is
Because
really hard to balance.
Because the themes are so, like, I don't want to call them heavy-handed, but their themes are, like, super prevalent compared to a lot of stuff. And the characters, like, wax on about them all the time, and I'm sure to some people it does come off regardless as, like, heavy-handed and sort of lazy, but to me it's always come across as, like, it is quirky and different,
Right.
but it's never really bothered me, and I think that when you distill them down, the themes are pretty, like, you know, agreeable, good, like, you know, who wants to feel like their genetics control their whole life, you know? So it's easy to play the game and be like, yeah. So, at least for this game, it works out pretty well. It's a nice little package. One thing I can say about this game, especially compared to a lot of games at the time, and this is how I feel about MGS 1, 2, and 3, is that there's no, like, major thing that, like, really fucks it up. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really any big flaws.
Oh.
There's, like, little things that you might or might not like, but there's nothing, like, egregious that's terrible. Besides, like, maybe kind of the ending's a little bit annoying. You have to like run all across the whole entire base a couple times with the key card and stuff like that, which is a little bit annoying, but it doesn't take that long. The base is small. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's small enough where it feels big, but when you really get down to it and most of the guards are gone, it's not that bad. So, good shit. Really love this game a lot.
I enjoyed it.
Now, on the topic of the twin snakes, I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Trivializes the entire game.
Not a fan. Not a big fan of it. The new cutscenes are a lot more over the top, which I think kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you're supposed to have the top surface layer of, like, realism.
Yeah.
Relative realism. And then, like, the quirky and the fourth wall breaking stuff and the jokes and stuff are a little bit underneath. And, like, you have Snake, like, backflipping off of rockets and shit. It's like... They redid the voice acting.
It is a hype, though.
It's hype. It doesn't bother me that it exists. I just don't think it can replace the original.
Oh, no.
It's like a different experience, but... it just sucks when something like that comes out and then, you know, a lot of the time for some people, mentally it replaces the original and it's a really completely different thing. They redid all the voice acting. It was pretty cool because I think David Hayter took like half of his paycheck that he was going to get and like gave it to voice actors to come back because he was going to get paid like $500,000 or something, and like $250,000 of that he said, I don't want that. Like, can we go get the other voice actors and get a bunch of them back and all this other stuff? So that's pretty cool. I guess the original audio, like when you up-resed it enough to where it could be usable on the GameCube, like you could hear like the cars that were outside of the recording studio and shit. So,
damn, that's crazy.
So they had to redo it. And some of it's fine, but I just think that like a lot of the character changes don't work for me as well. And it's not terrible. It's just I think it is a little bit worse than the original, which is unfortunate. And then of course, like it adds a lot of the mechanics of 2, like the first person aiming and like the hanging and stuff. But none of the game is redesigned. So the game was already pretty easy, and now it's like even easier because you can first person tranquilize snipe guards from across the fucking room and stuff.
Right.
Which like I said, is nice as a bonus to the original, but to me, it can't really replace the original.
Play it as a supplement, not a replacement.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's cool. I'm glad it exists.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's lots of like...
Just very expensive to try and pick up.
Yes, it is really expensive to find. I'm surprised. I don't know. Konami is dumb, we all know this, but it seems obvious to me to like Twin Snakes HD on Switch. It seems like it would print money, right? You would think.
Anything MGS would seemingly print money until you throw.
You could put that and then the HD collection in 4 on the Switch. Switch can run all that. Probably. I mean, I guess 5 was on the PS3, so the Switch could run that.
Yeah.
At least, to a certain extent. I don't know. I have all these ideas that I feel like they would print money and nobody does them, so maybe I'm an idiot, but MGS is cool. I love it. I love the whole series. It's one of my favorites, although I think probably should have ended a little bit earlier than it did. And I don't really need it to come back, I don't think. I'm happy with where it's at, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, next time on Whiskey Time.